All right, welcome back, everybody. We are back. It's your favorite Raiders channel, Raiders show, Raiders podcast, whatever you want to call us. It is Tape Don't Lie. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, subscribe, right? Hit the like button, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the dislike button. If you don't like it, go, make sure you guys leave us everything you want to say in the comments. You know what I'm saying? We'll try to get to some of your comments and respond or, and let us know. So, even if you got something bad to say, we had Ben come back a couple weeks ago. Shout out to Ben, man. He was one of our biggest haters. Came back in the comments. I definitely appreciated him coming back. I missed his hate every week. It kind of like drove me to keep going.
It fueled us. Yeah.
it's fueled us. So make sure you also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL. And then also for BD Williams, my co-host, at BD Williams 18, right? Also, we're also working at silverandblackpride.com. Both of us, we moved over there. We got some good articles up. We still got the Substack going too as well, and probably won't be hitting that up as much, but you'll see most of our work now at silverandblackpride.com. And then, you want to check out my other podcast, my ALPA, Little Pocket Awareness podcast. We're doing our top 29 quarterback countdown. So check out who I got 29 through 16 last week. So if you want to check that out, so go ahead and look into that. But today's show, we got a lot going here today. What I'm doing the training camp battle. So we got Denzelle Good versus John Simpson today, guys. So we'll really look at, the pros and cons of both players, and, who should win the job, or maybe, who shouldn't win the job, or who is going to win the job. We'll have that discussion and look into that. And what you covered today, BD?
So I'm covering Gus Bradley's Blitz packages. We're going to talk about that. I got a couple clips that kind of illustrate some of my points, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more afterwards. So yeah, that's all I got going. And yeah, how does it feel to be a writer at Silver and Black Pride, Marcus?
It feels good, man. Just
way. No, nothing. It's funny because I used to write over there, and then there was like this law where you can't hire independent contractors without like giving them full benefits or something like that. I forget what it was. And so I got canned. They fired me over there because they couldn't afford to give me full benefits. Anyways. And then afterwards, I was hitting up a lot of people who are like in the Raiders media industry. And I was like, yo, what's the best website to write for? And everyone said Silver and Black Pride. It was crazy. I was like, really? So it's cool that we're both back there. This channel turned into, now we got a writing gig as well. So definitely, if you're not familiar with the website Silver and Black Pride, definitely hit that up. And you can see some of our long form takes, some of our analysis over there as well. But why don't we jump into it? I've been actually really excited to see this Denzelle Good versus John Simpson breakdown. So hit us up.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and just jump into it. All right, so we got Denzelle Good versus John Simpson. We're going to start off with Denzelle Good. He's the veteran, 7 years pro. This year is going to be his 7th year in the NFL, 42 NFL career starts with the Colts and the Raiders, right? And we're just going to start off with run blocking. So we're going to split this up into some scouting things. So we got run blocking. We're going to look at zone and space and pass protection. We're going to start off with run blocking, which, just pure power gap runs, right? And that's where Good is very effective. As you'll see right here, he just tosses this dude to the side very easily. It's awesome. So pure, power. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You can see the little split zone there, right? Just, pure power in gap runs, right? So he has that at times, he does show that power, and he was really dominant in this Browns game, but we'll look back at it later, and sometimes he doesn't always show that power. But you see right there, man, he just gets that push, just bum rushes that dude, pancakes him, right? So zone and space. So one thing I thought was interesting, I didn't think, Denzelle Good was very good in outside zone, but once I went back and watched, I mean, he's effective. And you talk about reach blocks right here. This is a reach block. So the aiming point on a reach block is normally the outside play side shoulder of the defender. And you look where Denzelle Good has that is textbook reach block right there from Denzelle Good. Good push, right? Makes for a good game. You'll see it again. We'll zoom in a little bit here. And you see it again, just perfect reach block right there, man. Look at that perfect technique on the reach block. Get some good push. Great block right there, right? So, I mean, he has a little bit of athleticism to run the outside zone game. You see it again here. It's another good reach block, right? Good technique on the reach block. And he's pushing, right? Pushing, making room right there. Big gain on the outside zone. So, I mean, he does have a little bit of ability there to run outside zone. So we talked about the outside zone game. I mean, they did run a lot of inside zone last year, which he is good at as well. But you see there, he can be effective, but it's something that he doesn't specialize in. So we'll see it right here, right? I mean, he doesn't have the athleticism to get there all the time. So if he's facing a really good defensive tackle, Grover Stewart's pretty good, right? He's not able to beat him off the ball, and he doesn't have the athleticism to move very well laterally at times. And then you even see him in space, in target, like this is kind of a bad block here. You don't, he doesn't create anything. He kind of gets beat up by a linebacker. He has bad technique. His pads are super high there. You want to see him push through, right? I mean, that's a linebacker right there. You want to see him pummel that guy and make room for Jacobs coming through right through the hole when he's pulling on the power O. You know what I mean? So this is pure power football. He's the pulling guard, right? And you see him up against 51, and 51 just knocks him out because his pads are high, and he's not coming around with that athleticism that you want to see from most NFL guards, and it's basically why he was a 7th round pick. And then you see sometimes he just doesn't get any push, right? Like right here, I mean, I still think Jacobs should have scored on this play, but you kind of see right there, I mean, you still want more push from him, right? You want him to be able to push, it's because he doesn't blow the block technically, right? He doesn't blow the block, but he's kind of just stood up, right? And it allows the guy to shed quickly. But, you want him to see him get more push at times, and sometimes you don't see that from him in the run game or in the zone run game, right? And pass pro, like I said, he's effective in pass pro. It's not like he's bad or he's very solid. You see here, that's a great rep against DeForest Buckner right there, right? That's a great rep. You know what I'm saying? He got a little help from Colt Miller having even a better rep. But, he had a great rep there, good hands inside, good pad level, and was able to make a good block on an elite defensive tackle, right? And you see here with the great job right here on the stunt, him and Colt Miller. So he's very smart player too, very good mental processing when it comes to run blocking. And then you can see him do a nice little snatch and trap. I call this a snatch and get out the club. That's what I call that. Not a snatch and trap. That's the snatch and get out the club. It's a little different than a normal snatch and trap. See it one more time, right? Snatch and get out the club. That's not a snatch and trap. That's different. It's a little different kind of block. So you see him get nasty, right? You see him get nasty, but he's gonna get beat because he's effective. That's the best way I could is describe Denzelle Good. Is he's effective, but sometimes he's just gonna get beat. It's just nothing you can. I mean, if he plays, I mean, that's what you have to take. It's gonna be effective. There's gonna be some good blocks. There's gonna be some below average blocks. There's gonna be some elite blocks. There's gonna be some really, really bad blocks like that one where he just allows DeForest Buckner to just go right by him, right? So he's effective. I mean, that's the best way to describe him. You see, that's not good technique right there. He's leaning, he's reaching, not able to get his hands, and Buckner goes right around him. I think Buckner was setting him up all game a little bit too, but that's different. That's just elite pass rush play. So let's switch it up though. Let's go to John Simpson, 2nd year pro. We only got 2 starts from John Simpson last year, right? And I mean, the general theme for John Simpson for this whole theme here is growth. Talk about, I don't know if you guys ever watch Insecure, but there's a funny part. She goes growth, and that's really what this is about right here with John Simpson. I mean, this whole video is gonna be about growth. All right, guys. So let's start. This is week 3, right? We're gonna start with this technique. Week 3, right? This is pure just straight up blocking. It's not really like a zone. This is some power blocking, right? So we're gonna look at his technique here up close, right? Look at the hands outside, ugly. He's bear hugging him, right? He gets no push because of it on defensive end, and he's a guard, right? And he benched 34 pounds, right? So he's supposed to have more power than that, right? So, but let's switch. Let's let's switch to week 17. It's a little different, right? It's a little bit of power there. You know what I mean? We see a little bit like he's just pancaking somebody. He's lifting somebody off the ground. It's the same. It's a power run. That's a gap run scheme, right? See him once again. Him just punching dudes out the way. Look at this punching him, and there goes Jacobs for a touchdown. And it's growth. Everything's about growth with him. He's just a totally different player from week 3 to week. Look at him just punch the dude in the face, man. This is bully football. Just a bully, right? And then in zone, it's growth again, right? We're just watch him week 3 against the Patriots, and you're gonna see some decent zone reps, right? But you're not gonna see a lot of push from him. It's like, where was that power that we saw from that bench press? Right, you can see like that's not bad technique. I mean, he definitely can get his helmet, in a better area, get better on that reach block, right? But it's not a bad block, right? So you kind of see that he does have an outside zone specialty to him a little bit, right? So you see this is a decent block too, but you don't see a lot of push there, right? There's not a lot of push or movement, and Josh Jacobs still able to get outside because it was an effective block, but it wasn't a dynamic block, but. Now let's watch some different things. Look at him just move. Look at that hole he just opened by himself on that reach block. I mean, look at look at it. Just look at this hole he just moved on that reach block, man. It's ridiculous. Just moved 98, and he knocked Rodney Hudson over. It's just different. Look at that. Look at just moving 98. Just look at the holes he created from the outside. It's just growth, man. It's just crazy how he went from not moving anybody. And then week 16 and 17, he's just moving everybody and just throwing people around, right? You even see it in pass protection. So here's week 2 against the Saints right here, right? Hands outside, late, right? He's hugging, he's getting pushed right back into the quarterback. That's all they did was bull rush him every single time, right? Right. We watch it one more time. Hands outside, getting bull rushed. It's easy, and he's not showing any play strength at all. No play strength, just getting bull rushed. We see it here one more time, right, against the Patriots. Same thing. Same thing's gonna happen here, and this is a quick hitch throw for Carr, right? He's already getting pushed right back into him. It's the same issue, and then you see here, you got Adam Butler going right by him. And it's not even that he didn't have a bad block there, because you kind of can see how he has some good feet there, but he just had no power at all. There's no play strength. But we flash back to week 17. Let's flash forward. Let's go. Right? What we got here? Look at that. Great technique. Look at hands inside now. Right? No anchor.
Inside of the
3-yard pass.
Yeah. Inside of the feet.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Everything changes, right? Everything changed. It's just wild to watch how everything changed for him. You see him pick up the stunt here. Great movement to pick it up. He's picking up blitzes, allows Carr to throw downfield, and then you just got a big block right here. He even slips. It still has the play strength to keep it up. So,
yeah,
right. It's just growth, man. John Simpson is all about full on growth, and it's interesting how bad he was week 2 and week 3. And even when he came in against the Bucs, he was bad. It was I mean, you probably didn't think about wanting him on the field, but I think when he came in week 17 and he put that performance that he had, and week 16, when he came at the end of the game, week 16, I mean, Josh Jacobs had a lot of good yards, started to be able to move the ball. They're able to throw the ball downfield a whole lot more than they did in the first half. And then you saw in the Broncos game, they had 4 turnovers and they still put up 32 points. And a lot of that had to do with, John Simpson being in the game, open up holes. I mean, Jacobs had averaged 5.9 yards per carry in the Broncos game. And a lot of those big runs were behind John Simpson. So, my theory is, I mean, if they want to go young, right? This is the whole, they've been talking about offseason. We're getting younger at the offensive line. We're getting younger, all this other stuff. I mean, you got to go with, I think you go with John Simpson. And he has like 34-inch arms. He has 11-inch hands. He has a 30-inch vertical leap at 320 pounds. His broad is 75 percentile. Like, we went through all the cable stats, man. I, I just wonder, how much longer they're gonna be able to hold out without playing him. I don't, because Denzelle Good is effective, right? I mean, I'm not gonna be bad if Denzelle Good plays. I think it'll be fine. I think the Raiders will be fine. I mean, they were fine last year with him playing. It's not going to be a big deal either way. If he plays, he knows the system. He's going to know he has good work with the other linemen. Good, good chemistry with the other linemen, right? He's not out of position. He doesn't, what I'm saying. He's a effective. That's basically how I could describe him, right? I said that a lot, but that's what he is. And but I think Simpson can be special. That's kind of how I feel about it. I think he can be special. I think there's a lot of special things that he was doing that just wasn't normal. A lot of things that
right.
It's like it's
the one thing to me. The one thing to me that really stuck out was when he fell in pass protection, and he's on his knee, but he has one hand up and he's still stonewalling the guy. You can't generate power down there. You know what I'm saying? If you're not on your feet. And I think, so there's a couple things that were pretty eye-opening, tossing guys around. I think Denzelle Good is very strong.
Yeah.
But to your point, the lateral agility, just the athleticism in space, it's not his calling card. I think that he is a gap scheme blocker for the most part.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'll say, I like Denzelle Good. I think that there's 32 NFL teams. That means there's 64 starting guards in the NFL. Are there 64 better guards in the NFL than Denzelle Good? Right. I would say no. I would say he's probably, got to be close to at least up there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a starter in the NFL. But yeah, it looks like there might be some very promising options there. Now, my question to you about Simpson. Okay. He played, correct me if I'm wrong, he played on the left side at Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
And then he only played on the left side last year. Richie Incognito is a left guard. I don't think I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a shakeup there? What would that look like if John Simpson got the start? Are they going to put the young player there and ask the veteran to move over like they did with Colton Miller and Donald Penn? You know what I'm saying? What would your thoughts be behind that?
I think, Incognito's played right guard before.
Yes.
So since he has played right guard before, I think it's easier for him to move, and then John Simpson play a left guard. I think the left guard, right guard thing is not as bad as left tackle and right tackle.
Probably not.
Yeah. It's you're still kind of in that setup, but I could be wrong. Don't take my word on that. Offensive lineman, if somebody hears that, I could be wrong. But Incognito has done it before. He's played right guard before. So since he's played right guard before, I think it's easier for him to just move over to right guard and then leave Simpson at left guard. And the thing that sucks is that, none of the people that were at minicamp have really seen 11 on 11s or like periods that show like what the actual lineman setup is. Like, we don't know at this point. We're not going to know until a couple weeks, and we're going to find out exactly who wears where, who's behind who. Like, are they mixing in Simpson and Good, like with the ones, like a Simpson with the one on one day and Goods with the one on the other? Like, we're not, or is Incognito at right guard or is he at left guard? We don't know that yet because the Raiders are the CIA or something. They think they're the KGB or whatever people watch. Come on, man. Can we watch your 11 on 11 mini camps, please? Everybody's getting these Cam Newton's 10 for 14 or whatever today. Raiders
they don't get anything. Like, yeah,
cameras off. You can watch the drills. The cameras off. But I wish they'd give us a little more to watch. But that's what I'm saying.
We're watching guys push a bag and then tackle a friggin' medicine ball or something like that. Like, that's all we get to see.
These other teams
look at that hip extension. Reports. Like, come on, we're not getting anything. We're getting nothing. Yeah, that's true. So, but look, it's gonna be worth the wait. We're gonna find out, and I think I'm glad that you showed that because I think a lot of people, there's a lot of people, I think, a lot of fans who are probably not really thinking about John Simpson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now that you showed that, yeah, it's something that we could think about, you know, and that might be an option, and we don't have to be surprised because you break down. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I mean, it was nice to watch this because he's young, you know, and the growth. It also shows me that he's a worker. You know what I mean? Like that work ethic. You know what I mean?
For sure.
That work ethic that he put out there. You know what I mean? Like it's you just don't get better like that quick. You know what I mean? Unless you're not playing either. Ain't like he was playing,
right? But he needed to get his feet wet in the beginning of the season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that. He's like, oh, NFL. Like, I'm not the biggest, strongest guy out here anymore. Like,
oh, I just can't just hug you with those.
Right.
Like, no, they're gonna run through you, bro.
But like, there's certain things like his hand placement from at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year. Yeah. Like, we're getting a lot closer to textbook. You know, like when he's anchoring off of it, like you see him try to anchor in those first few clips, right?
Yeah.
His feet are moving. He's like picking his feet up, and you can't anchor when your feet are picking up, right? And his toes are pointed forward. And then you see him in the, well, you know, one of those examples that you have from the end of the season, his feet are pointed kind of like outwards, and he's anchoring off of his insteps of his foot, and that's like a textbook thing that you're supposed to do. I don't even know how offensive line coaches teach that. I just know to look for it. You know what I'm saying? But so like you see like the technique really improved, and then that's when we're going to see some of the athleticism and some of the power and some of the things that he has when the technique is there. So that's very encouraging to see that, because on my end, looking at the Damon Arnett's and looking at Amik Robertson's, like I didn't see any improvement in technique from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Like there's nothing to even talk about, you know? So that's encouraging to see from our guy, John Simpson, right there. Yeah. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, it's just you know, to back up what you said, man. It was just the growth from him and the improvement is crazy, you know, because I thought it was just the Broncos game, but you know, when I went and watched the Dolphins game, I saw the impact that he had on that game too. It's like the impact that he had on that line, you know, it was just wild to me, man. I couldn't. He was just to have a player like that is so young, and the potential that he could have if he blocks like that for a whole season. Like, think about if he blocks like that for a whole season, bro. He's going to go viral on Twitter eventually.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, he had some highlights. You know what I mean? Right. Like, that was more about him, you know, and it was consistently through 2 games. He just had highlight blocks, right? And, you know, even if he wasn't the most consistent every single time in those games, is if you have a guy that's having highlight blocks as a rookie, that means he's really nasty and he's a mover and he's strong as hell.
Yeah.
So,
right. Yeah. No, that's exciting. Honestly, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a quick joke before we move on. If you did a Nick Martin versus Andre James, would we be in the same boat right now?
See, John Simpson actually has me thinking positive. I mean, about Andre James, because like, what the hell are they doing in practice that they're like their technique? Because he's not going to a coach midseason. He's not going to, like, you know, Duke Mayweather mid-year, you know, or, you know, whatever. That's inside the building. So what are they doing inside the building that John Simpson is getting better, you know, like that? Or, you know, what's the emphasis on coaching? Like, what are they doing during the week? So, you know, maybe they might be right. I don't know. Like, you know, it's got, if Andre James is taken into coaching and he's improved and, you know, he's gotten stronger, then maybe. But
all right.
Maybe, but
it's really funny.
If I did the tape, it wouldn't be fair though. It wouldn't be fair.
It wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair at all. Nick Martin's from freaking Notre Dame. He's got textbook technique coming into the NFL. It's funny though. Like, if you look at Tom Cable's record with his offensive lines in Seattle, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that there's many like pundits and analysts who are like, the offensive line wasn't good in Seattle, right? Whether or not that's a symptom of a certain quarterback holding onto the ball way too long, right? Or not, all right? The sack numbers were probably like always really bad, but then you also look at it, and they never drafted offensive linemen like before, like the 3rd round or 4th round. So Tom Cable was like, "You're a great offensive line coach. Here you go. Here, work with all these guys who are like former basketball players, who are barely, good enough to make it in the NFL." Versus now, you're getting like Alabama, Clemson, UCLA. You know what I'm saying? Like Richie Incognito, Rodney Hudson. You're getting like bona fide, legit NFL offensive linemen for Tom Cable to work with. So I think that also has got to help him out. Like it's not just the athletic measurables that John Simpson has. He's got the pedigree. He comes from a national championship winning program, where he takes hard coaching and he's around the best coaches and, against the best competition coming in. Same with Leatherwood as well. So, I mean, if to your point, that's coaching. The improvement from week 3, week 4 to week 16, 17 is night and day. That's good for Andre James. That's good for Alex Leatherwood. That's great for those players. And I'm excited to see what the offensive line is going to look like. Sure.
To be honest, I was too. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get too hype over it.
Yeah, right.
I was
right.
I watched some of those blocks. I was like, bro, this guy starts. He plays like this a whole season. Like Jacobs is gonna get like 14 yards. Right. That's what I was thinking, but we'll see.
All right, I'll take it.
I'll calm it down.
I'll take it. Okay, cool. All right, so we can switch gears here. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Gus Bradley's blitz packages.
All right.
He's not a heavy blitzer, right? I think that a lot of people were a little worried about Gus Bradley coming over because, they thought, oh, but Gus Bradley doesn't blitz, and that's a bad thing. And we'll talk about it. And there's different philosophies on it. But first of all, let's just talk about what his blitz package actually looks like. Okay. So what I want to talk about right now is the way that he attacks protections. And we'll look at some clips from the week before he played them. Okay. So this is the Buccaneers going up against the Broncos. They are a combo pass protection team. So one side will be man, one side will be zone, and the back will come across the formation to block. Okay. And this is something that he saw on tape, that Gus Bradley saw on tape, and said, okay, so we need to design a blitz to beat this protection. So let's look at the man side of the formation. Okay. We got Joey Bosa coming inside, and it's making this tackle go inside and mirror him inside. And then that means the guard has to come out because he's man blocking. Okay. And he's got two guys, and they, him and the back aren't on the same page. Tom Brady gets hit. And then you also look at this linebacker right here doing a little coffee house stunt to make matters worse for the pass protection. Great design blitz for the protection. Now, what the Chiefs would do when they would get 3 men on one side of the line of scrimmage, they would have the guard help out in what's called like a half slide, 4-1 half slide. Okay. And the guard would help out. And so Gus Bradley saw this on tape earlier in the game and said, okay, there's my blitz path. Let's get after it. So now later on in the game, when they get into this overload formation, 3 guys on one side of the field, on one side of the formation, they know the guard, okay, is going to come help out on that side, right? So what do? They send a blitz right down where this opening is in the protection. The back almost picks it up, but he gets splashed right into Patrick Mahomes here. So again, Gus Bradley knows what the protection is. He's not going to call a lot of blitzes, but when he does, they're going to be effective. Okay, now this is the Raiders playing the Saints. They're a full fan pass blocking team. Okay, and you see the Raiders on their blitz, everyone just kind of runs right into offensive linemen. They're not stressing this protection. Okay, now when Gus Bradley goes up against this protection right here, okay, what's he's going to do? He's going to have the ends occupy the tackles, and then he's going to send an additional blitzers off the edge. He's got 2 free runners at the quarterback. Drew Brees has to get rid of the ball earlier than he expected. Okay, now check it out. This is his blitz coverages. So what I'm going to talk to you about is Gus Bradley. First of all, he's a big single high blitz cover team. So he likes to do fire zones. If you're a cover 3 team, you're going to have some cover 3 blitzes, right? Like that's not surprising. And so this is something that you'll see on Sundays every now and again. They're going to get into some cover 3 when they blitz. Okay. They also will run man across the board, single high as well. as a changeup. Everyone is in man coverage here. If you look at, we're not covering any zones. We're covering guys here, and there's safety in the middle of the field. And so that's another way that he'll run his blitz coverages. But his workhorse blitz coverage is called eyes. Okay, and this is a 6-man pressure blitz coverage, and you'll have 2 guys in the middle of the field responsible for the hot routes, the hot of 2, the hot of 3, meaning they're looking to jump side adjustments, jump hot routes, jump guys who are anticipating the blitz and get their hands on the football. Okay, so there's not there's some risk here, but because they're sending a 6-man pressure, they know the ball's got to come out quick, so they're playing coverage to match that. And you see it kind of pay dividends for them. They're able to get now into a 6-man pressure, and they got their guys getting ready to jump any quick breaking routes, either in or out. So that's really his workhorse blitz coverage that he likes to get into. It's called eyes. But yeah, the majority of blitzes that Gus Bradley calls are going to be single high. He will get into some 2 high blitzes, but again, it's not like we're seeing the guy blitz every drive. It's kind of rare. But the point of that serves 2 purposes. One, when you're sending a 4-man rush all game, and then it'll be like 2 or 3 downs a game, where now you're sending a 6-man pressure. Okay, chances are the offensive line is not going to be ready for that, right? And so his blitzes are very effective. Like when he does call them, he's got a great success rate, much better than Paul Guenther. And the other thing that Bradley does that is really impressive to me, at least, is I have yet to see the same blitz twice. He calls blitzes to take advantage of the protection, whereas when I was going through Paul Guenther's training camp installation that someone leaked online in 2018, okay, and then I was charting 2020, I could find every single blitz that Paul Guenther called. I could find it in the 2018 blitz install, okay, and basically none of these blitzes that I'm seeing Gus Bradley run in 2020 am I able to find in his 2017 Jaguars playbook. So he does not call the same blitz twice. He's kind of like Bruce Arians. Like he won't call the same, pass play more than once in a game. Gus Bradley won't call the same blitz more than once in a season. He's trying to trick you guys. He's trying to, be game plan specific. And I really think that, the team is going to go into a game with like 3 blitzes, right? And he's going to wait for that right moment, and he's going to call it when he thinks the protection is going to be there. And, he has a good track record. So I think his blitzes are effective, even if he doesn't call him very much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just watching that is just, a creative defense, just watching a defense is better schematically, to be honest. I feel like that he's, he gets pigeonholed into cover 3, but when you are so schematically sound the way he runs things, I mean, you're always going to get a halfway decent defense, because, even that was the worst Chargers defense they had last year, but they still had some good performances. It was, so you hope that translates to what the Raiders want to do, which we get some better performances on defense. That's just not against Drew Lock. You know what I mean? That's against different, better quarterbacks than, we actually, seen. I mean, they had a good performance against Mahomes last year, but I mean, it's still 32 points. We want to have it where they're actually slowing these guys down consistently, and we're not, having to deal with drops or getting a little bit lucky with some of the defensive calls that we have. So, and I think it'll cause more turnovers too. I mean, if he's working that way schematically with the great blitzes and, timely blitzes, that's what you like to more call them, as timely blitzes, because,
right.
People want the Ravens, right? They want the Ravens where they're just blitzing every single time. But the reason the Ravens do that because, they don't want to pay edge defenders. So they feel like they could do, we're not going to pay edge defenders. Because if you notice, a lot of the best edge defenders in the league come from the Ravens. Yeah, like that one dude in that
Judon
Packers.
Zadarius
Smith. Yeah, they just let him go, and that dude's a monster because they feel like they can just manufacture pressure. But it's always better to get pressure with 4. in my opinion. The blitz adds a little bit element, makes the quarterback, rush a little bit, but the best is always getting pressure with 4 because that freaks out quarterbacks the most. Pressure with 4 freaks them out. But, back to going to the blitzes, just having them be timely and effective, because if they're timely and you're not a heavy blitz team and they're not expecting it, I mean, you can catch teams off guards more often too, which causes more turnovers. So,
yeah. And I think that what happens is there's no tendency with him in the blitz. So you're not going to very often find teams catching him with a screen, or something like that takes advantage of like them sending 5 or 6 guys, because he just calls it so infrequently. You can't really game plan for it, and against young quarterbacks, like against Drew Lock last year, he blitzed him a lot, like that's what you do against, everyone knows that's how you beat Drew Lock. That's how you blitz him.
You blitz him,
but it's not like that's like a normal thing for him. I would say that against the best teams, when I'm going back and watching them, I'm not really watching Gus Bradley's defense against like the Jets last year or something like that. I'm watching them against the Bills, I'm watching them against Buccaneers, and I'm watching them against the Chiefs. Okay. Those are the 3 teams that I'm like really paying the most attention to when I'm watching Gus Bradley's defense. And he very rare was the blitz called. It was like 2 or 3 times in each of those games that it was called, but almost every single one was a successful blitz. So, yeah, and that just goes to, whereas when I was starting Kansas City against the Raiders last year, not a single one of Paul Guenther's blitzes was successful. They all gave up first downs, and like one gave up like 35, 40 yards or something like that. And it was like, on the third and whatever. Yeah. And last thing I'll say is he does not blitz. He's more often to blitz on like a 2nd and 8 or a 2nd and 10 than like a 3rd and 7 or a 3rd and 6.
Okay.
So like, I think that's also helps the tendency. Like, when you're 3rd and 6 or something like that, you might throw a screen, or you might try to catch him with something because you're anticipating the blitz coming, and he'll show plenty of blitzes on 3rd and 7, but they won't actually blitz. So I think that's a cool thing to notice as well. Okay. So yeah, but that's all I got right now. I think I'm done with Bradley. I've gone through his defensive line formations and stunts. I've gone through all of his cover 3 package, and I've gone through his split field safety packages, and now I've gone through his blitzes. I might throw an article up on Silver and Black Pride about his blitz packages, but I talked about his split field safety package. That was my first article that I wrote for Silver and Black Pride, now that I'm back there. And then you can find my other 2 articles about Gus Bradley and his defenses on the TDL Substack. I'll go ahead and throw those in the link in the description when we're done with this. So I think I'm done with Bradley. I've gotten a couple requests about people asking me to, look at certain things. So I might get back to that at some point before the season starts if I have time. But yeah, so I guess, we're just focusing on training camp battles until then. Are you working on anything? Go ahead.
Well, I do have a couple articles on Silver Black Pride. We got the Raiders being more explosive on 1st and 2nd down. Taking more chances, basically being more aggressive on 1st and 2nd down. And then what else I did? The return to outside zone, which I talk about all the time on the show. So, we got those 2. And then, we're going to do Lil Richard versus Riddick. So, that's the next thing we got.
My guy, Theo Riddick.
Yeah. So it's
we're gonna, people hate me for that. Anytime I say anything about Theo Riddick, they're like, Jalen Richard's better. Shut the hell up.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
I'm excited about that one too, man. I'm excited about that one too. So yeah, I got to get my thoughts together. I just came back from vacation, so I got to figure out the next training camp battle that I will do.
I mean, what's on that side though? Like, what battles are there?
No, that's the thing. I'm trying to figure this out. Besides the interior defensive line and then nickel, I'm going to do Nate Hobbs. Were you able to figure out? Matt told you about another drive. Were you able to get access to that drive?
No, I did not try to get access to that drive yet. But I mean, you could find some more Nate Hobbs in there.
Yeah, because I need more Nate Hobbs. I only have one game, and it was the weirdest game I've ever watched.
I mean, they basically just play base Tampa 2. Like, even if you watch another game, it's just they're base Tampa 2 all the time. So I don't know.
But against 13 personnel, like he's playing edge, like he's like a a Sam linebacker the entire game. I've never seen a corner do that.
Lovie Smith went up to Illinois. He's like, okay, it's the Big Ten. I could just play 2002 defense and get away with it. That's what he thought. Like, no, man, you can't do that against Ohio State, bro. You can't. They're gonna stretch you out, bro. You can't be like this old school. Like, first of all, you don't have Ronnie Barber and Derek Brooks, and I don't know. What
right, Simeon Rice. Like, come on.
or Aeneas Williams, who he had like St. Louis or those guys. You
know? Yeah. So I got to find more Nate Hobbs because I mean it looks like it's gonna be Nate Hobbs, Amik Robertson, because Nevin Lawson is suspended the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah.
So even if Nevin Lawson wins, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be one of these young guys, I guess. It's actually kind of it's worrisome, honestly. It's worrisome. But hopefully Ron Miles gets with these guys and gets them ready to go. So I guess if I find enough film of Nate Hobbs, I could do him versus Amik Robertson. But Amik Robertson played so little last year that it's gonna be tough for me to say. Besides like showing like a couple like low lights and saying like I can't say that that's Amik Robertson. He didn't play enough for me to confidently say like this is the player who he is.
Yeah.
So I think that the tape would be tough to do that, but I'm kind of like out of ideas at this point, to be honest with you. So if you have an idea about a position battle on defense that you want me to look at, maybe I could do Nicholas Morrow versus Nick Wachowski. Holla at me in the comment section, talk to me, and we could figure it out, and I can make it work next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? Like the 2 guys resigning, Bedane and Kirby Wilson.
Kirby Wilson. I mean, I think the Bedane one's pretty big. I think that's out of nowhere. He's a team president. He just resigned out of just. And then Mark Davis is like weird like statement that I like had every word
all caps. That was weird. That was very strange. Very strange.
So it was that like an anger message? I don't know. Like, was that like out of anger? I hate speculating on stuff like that because I don't know. I
have a question. I'm keeping it real right now. Like, I came in front. What does the team president do?
I mean, team president. He basically just represents the team and like sets up things. So like he set up like a lot of like Mark Bedane is a big deal with the Las Vegas and then moving to Las Vegas. Like that was
okay. So he's like on the business side.
Oh, 100%. He's more on the business side. I don't think Bedane does anything on the football side. So he's not like a football
doesn't
guy.
Affect like the football product.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
All right. The Raiders. I'm sure Mark Davis likes to have some say in what's going on, but it's John Gruden's show. It's a Gruden and Mayock show.
But he's not like involved in like player personnel, anything with this guy, probably. Okay.
Nah, it's how much money does Vic do we make on this? And
okay, cool.
I think there's had a lot to do with that. I bet, but I'm just speculating. Like I really don't know because it's not like a team president like over it like with the Redskins, the football team. Sorry, I didn't get all the way out, but the football team with not like how it is with the
team formerly known as
it's a team in Washington, where like the team president is under Snyder, and they make the decisions. They have like a fake GM or whatever. It's not like that.
Okay, and then I think it's a shame that Kirby Wilson left because I think Kirby Wilson has a great track record of coaching backs in the NFL. Yeah, and I would love to see. I would have loved to see him get his hands on Kenyon Drake. Mm-hmm. So I think that is big. Like backs are so forgotten. Okay. But like, this is an integral like position. Okay. And it's not about rushing the ball even, because a lot of times what a running back is doing when they have the ball in their hands, it's like pure instinct, and not all of it you can teach. Okay. Yeah. Some of it you can. I'm not trying to say like, it's all like God-given ability, but the most important things are pass protection and ball security for a back. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, those are actual legit skills that you need to learn. And so I'm hoping that we don't see a drop off in those areas, because I think that the backs have done a great job in pass protection with Kirby Wilson being there. Great job. Like all of them, like Jalen Richard when he comes in, Josh Jacobs, like these guys are like, they're doing a great job in pass protection. I think they're picking up blitzes violently at that. So hopefully we don't see a drop off. Hopefully we don't see some fumbles start to happen because like the same drills aren't being taught. I'm a little concerned because those are the kinds of things that could be a backbreaker for your offense. Like you could have a great offense if your running back doesn't pass protect. That could mess you up. So we'll see. Do we have any idea who's going to take over for him?
I mean, they haven't announced it yet. They haven't announced who is going to take over for him yet. They haven't said who's an interim or nothing. They said who the interim president was. I can't remember his name at the top of my head right now. But they already announced who the interim president was. But I don't see them announcing the interim running back coach. You figure that would have been announced at the same time when he left, but you don't see anything.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the website. And they lost the tight end coach, and he did a great job last 2 years with Darren Waller and Foster Moreau.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, similar assistants, man, it's upsetting. It's upsetting, honestly.
The Kirby Wilson one is big. You're right, because all the things you pointed out and how good the Raiders have been in those areas. Yeah, you put a lot of perspective of how big of a loss that is.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone on the coaching staff website.
They're probably scrambling, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course.
How are you gonna find it? It's hard to find a coach in July.
Yeah,
right before training.
It's always the running backs coaches too. Like the running backs coaches, like these guys have been through it all. They'll be like 20 years experience in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like they have little drills, little things that they say, little things that they can, get across. They're just like, these guys are a wealth of knowledge when you can get like old grizzled running backs coach. I love those guys.
Yeah.
They're probably the funniest dudes out there too. But yeah, we'll see. All right. So that's it from me. Unless you got anything else, Marcus, I think that's.
No, man, I ain't got nothing else. That's all I got for this week, guys.
Okay, well, thanks very much for doing the Denzelle Good John Simpson breakdown. I think that will have fans excited for sure. Make sure you follow Marcus Johnson at the Mark John NFL on Twitter. He is writing at Silver and Black Pride as well now. We will put a link to one of his articles in the description. Follow myself at BDWilliams18 on Twitter. I'm also writing at Silver and Black Pride as well. We on the come up out here on the Tape Don't Lie. So thanks everyone for listening and tuning in. We might have some other changes in the works as far as the format of this show goes once the season starts. We're still ironing out some details, but we might want to get your guys' feedback too on it all. But that's it. Raider Nation, peace out.
So.